Well, good morning, everybody. I think I know you all, but I'm Gail Naughton. I'm the President and CEO of the National Czech and Slovak Museum and Library, and I'm very pleased to have you all here this morning. I welcome you to our special announcement about the future of our museum and library. It's 17 months since the flood, and we stand in this building and under our chandelier and look toward the future. And this has been a long time coming, and we're very excited to make this announcement today. Since the flood, we have been carefully planning our long-term recovery. These are not simple decisions that can be made quickly, and we've taken many steps in recovery. And first of all, we established temporary offices. Before we were even able to get back in this building after the flood, we were in offices at Frank Mag & Associates in Marion, and we're still there today, operating our operation from the Frank Mag & Associates offices. We opened a temporary location at NCSNL at Lindale, and we have an exhibition, a store, that we have had programs there for over a year. We installed an original exhibition in partnership at the Cedar Rapids Museum of Art that has been visited by thousands of people. We purchased and are renovating the historic COSEC building on 16th Avenue Southwest, where we'll be installing a new exhibition to open sometime after the first of the year, entitled Rising Above, the Story of a People and the Flood. We're going to get back down into our own neighborhood, into our own Czech village, New Bohemia ethnic neighborhood, and help the neighborhood. We want to be part of the neighborhood's revitalization after the flood. We also recently leased a building to store our collections. We've had them in multiple locations, and we're going to now have a building where we can unpack and get control back and access back to our collections. And then we went through an extensive process of deciding where we were going to rebuild our museum and library. We surveyed our friends, our constituents, the city, we had public meetings, and selected the Roundhouse site across the street from the museum as the site to rebuild. And I'm pleased to tell you today that the City of Cedar Rapids is accommodating our proposal, and we are working on the details of that transaction to take over that space. So that has just recently happened, and we want to thank the City of Cedar Rapids for working with us so closely on this.
Wonderful.
Now I'd like to introduce Gary Rozek, the Chair of the Board of Directors of the National Czech and Slovak Museum and Library, to make our announcement.
Thank you, Gail. You can't imagine how many times that our staff and our volunteers and our board has been asked, what are we going to do with this building? And finally, we have decided the fate of this building we're in today. After the flood, we learned that as it stands, this building cannot be a museum again. We can't obtain insurance for collections and exhibitions that have the potential or any risk of flood. So in addition, prior to the flood, we had planned an expansion because we had outgrown this building. And that need hasn't gone away. So we knew we needed to build a new exhibition center and research library. And we formed a team of board members and advisors to look at all the options for the use of this building. And some of those options were to lease it to a third party, to use it as a program and event center, or to convert it to a pavilion. After many meetings, many hours investigating many options, I am pleased to announce that the Board of Directors last night voted unanimously to pursue lifting and moving this building to the Roundhouse site to become the focal point of a new museum and library. Thank you. The floor of the museum is proposed to be 3 feet above the 2008 flood, sitting above the level of parking. And we're very excited about this prospect of moving this iconic museum building. We have investigated the technical complexities and are confident that it is possible to accomplish this incredible task. So the next step is to move into the design of the new structure. And with the agreement with the City of Cedar Rapids to gain control of that site at 15th and A Street, we will soon begin detailed engineering studies of that site. Our goal is to make site improvements and move the building in 2010. Actual construction is planned to begin in 2011 with an opening date goal in 2012. I'd like to turn it back over to Gail to close our comments.
I think that we'll probably take down the chandelier before we move the building. just a thought. That in itself will be quite a challenge. We could not have progressed this far without the support of the state of Iowa in our $10 million allocation from the iJobs Fund. This gave us the ability to move ahead with plans like this. But the cost of this project to build a new museum and library is estimated in the range of $20 million. The total cost for us to recover from this flood is more like $25 million. So we have a ways to go, and we will be focusing on raising the rest of those funds from multiple sources, foundations, corporations, individuals, friends in Cedar Rapids and across the country over the next months to make all of this possible and help us realize this vision. We are also looking into state and federal hazard mitigation funds to perhaps help with this project. But most important is what goes on inside of a building. We in Cedar Rapids have been so focused on rebuilding our infrastructure here, but it's what goes on inside this museum and library that counts. And the board and staff are working very hard on developing new interpretive plans, new curriculum for students, innovative programs, and designing a new permanent exhibition to go inside our new exhibition center. The NCSML is an icon. It's an icon around which big ideas and important values can be discussed. We need that in a society. We need an anchor where future generations can learn about the struggles of people for freedom and identity and democracy. And that's the story of the Czechs and the Slovaks. We can be a catalyst for young people to learn more about themselves and more about the world in which they live. And so we are eager to move forward with these plans. The building is a symbol of courage and conviction for Czechs and Slovaks across the country, and we think it's going to be the symbol of rebirth for the city of Cedar Rapids from the floods of 2008. So we thank you all very much for coming and for your support.